evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. And on behalf of TCS iON, this is Mudita Bansal, and I'm truly excited to welcome you all to this Jobinar on possibilities with prompts. So think about how you are using AI today. Probably for your assignments, for creating a resume, for finding quick answers to your interview questions, and maybe even to write a breakup message, isn't it? We all use AI, but most of us are using it for very basic trial and error problems. Now, imagine two students sitting next to each other. Student A types, make a resume for fresher. He gets a very normal break output. Student B types a well-designed prompt with details, with a structure, and he gets a very professional resume that actually gets shortlisted. It's the same AI that they have used, same AI tool, same time they have used it, maybe from the same laptop also, but they get a different result just because of the prompt that they have used. This is the truth of this generation. Some people are just using AI, and some people win with AI. And if you want to be the winner, then this session is exactly what you should attend very attentively. Listen to the speaker attentively, grab what she's trying to tell us, and then implement it when you go back. So, possibilities with prompts, we are exploring 7 core aspects of prompt engineering. First of all, AI literacy. Just how anyone can talk to AI like like a pro. What are the career opportunities in prompt engineering? Or maybe prompting. Then how AI works as an innovative partner, how AI works as a creative partner, how AI has democratized the whole industry, IT industry, how AI can increase team productivity, and also what are the ethics that we must follow when using AI. So if you listen with attention, this session can genuinely be a game changer for you. Because after today, you will not just know prompt engineering. You will understand why it matters, how it creates an edge, and how you can start using it immediately. So we have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Himdweep Walia, who's going to take us through this topic. Dr. Himdweep Walia has been working in higher education domain for almost 2 decades now. Currently, she's working in TCS as a subject matter expert and domain consultant for learning programs, having end-to-end ownership of learning products in AI and ML domain. In her current role, she's working with various INIs, IITs, IIMs, institutes of national importance, and universities to create learning programs in domains like AI, ML, AR, VR, IoT, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and all this with upcoming industry relevant courses to help stakeholders leverage the courses in a graded manner. A very, very warm welcome to you, Dr. Himdweep.
Thank you so much, Madhita.
What exactly is prompt engineering for all our students, and why is it so important in today's AI-driven world? Over to you.
Okay, so I have this presentation prepared for the job and if it's it, and with that we can take the students through this journey of what is prompt and how and what's become so important as, in their professional career. Great. So thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Mudita, that you gave about me. And thank you so much to all the lovely learners who have joined in. And your responses tells us that, you know, how enthusiastic you are about this particular topic. And it should be very much so. Reason being that in the past 7 months, all generative AI applications have taken all of us by surprise, right? Someday or the other you have a prompt that goes viral, everybody's experimenting out with it, and you are creating different outputs from it, and then you are sharing it on social media. So it has turned out into a trend. But is it only that? So that's one aspect of it, which is quite entertaining and everybody's loving it. But then on the other side, heavily used in industry as well. And we at TCS itself are using prompt engineering, using generative AI in a very large. So today we'll be deep diving into the aspect that why exactly high prompt is absolutely necessary for anybody who's all set to venture into a professional career. Okay, so if I can actually quote this, I'll say AI, your generative AI is actually an AI partner in your pocket because you have these on your mobiles are in your hand pocket, so you have this friend with you wherever you go. Let's say that you are part of a creative team which is part of the advertising agency, and there is a new company that has come to you who have created this wonky eco-friendly water bottle, and they are specifically targeting it to Gen Z. So they have come to you and asked you to create a product pitch for them, right? So this means that this involves a lot of creative thinking and a lot of brainstorming, that exactly what we are supposed to keep into mind while designing. What is the interest of the Gen Z? How are they going to use this eco-friendly water bottle? What are the things that we should be highlighting in order to sell this to them? And then you come up with something like this: hydrate your life, not the landfill. Because you know that Gen Z is very particular about environment. Ocean-bound plastic, not your best accessory. So the hydroverse, sip smart, look fire. So that's what you're coming up. Now, what if I say that this was actually a generative AI response that helped us creating this wonderful pitch, which was instantly liked by the company and became a super duper hit. Which means that whatever we are thinking, whatever we feel can be put into action, we can make use of these applications to do that. And the reason why these applications have become such a big hit is because of the fact that it can do things which might have taken hours in few minutes. But in order to reach from those hours into minutes, there is a specific road that you have to follow. And we'll be talking about that road in this session. So before we actually deep dive into this, let's just start with the basics, right? What exactly is a prompt? So it's a statement that's written in English, because that's primarily the language that we are using as of now. I'm sure that in coming months, you'll see that we are able to give prompts in all the other languages as well. But having done so, we are supposed to get a specific response. And that response is something that you expect the application to give it to you. Now on the screen, you can see two prompts that you. The first one says, tell me about marketing. And the second one says, explain digital market trends for 2025 in India, focusing on Gen Z and social media. Modita was explaining or giving an introduction about the session. She gave the example of those two students sitting next to each other, and their reason for using the generative AI application was same. That was to generate a resume, but the difference was the prompt that they had used. And that difference you can see on the screen with respect to both the prompts which is written. The one which I read out first was a weak prompt. Something very general. You're not really specifying that what exactly that you need. And if you look at the second prompt, this is what you were actually looking for, right? Now, because you had been very specific that what you wanted, what exactly was the area in marketing that you were looking for, in what year are you specifying those trends? Because digital marketing trends have been going on since the early 20s. So is it really what was going in the early 2000s that you will be looking at to 2025 or 2026? Not exactly. Then the target audience is going to be different. People are going to have a different reaction in India as compared to European countries or in North America. Similarly, which is the population that you to be, targeting. Are these the millennials? Are these the Gen Zs? They have a different approach in looking at things. So everything need to be very much specified in order to ensure that we exactly get the answer that we are looking for, so that hours work gets converted into minutes. Okay, so your prompts are not just questions, right? So you're not supposed to say, hi, I have a question to you. Can you tell me? You have to give a prompt that specifies what exactly is your intent. Okay, so the one question which should be in everybody's mind as of now, that why are we even talking about this? Why do prompts matter? You know, way back Google's search engine was launched, we were also doing hit and trial, and there was no specific session that's to talk about that, how you're supposed to use search engine. Then why so much fuss about how to use a generative AI application? Because it matters. It matters because we are using these applications to make our work easy. And in order to make our work easy, we have to be very clear about what type of specifications we are giving. Otherwise, it can give you as general information as possible. So even when you are typing something on Google and you're looking for something, it gives you a lot of different links out there. You have to go through all those links in order to find that you are looking for. These applications are actually designed to avoid all that work. They're supposed to extract the information from all those links that your search engine was initially providing, summarizing it into a format that is what you wanted in the first place. So that's why it's important. And we see that because of this particular topic that we have, there are a lot of new jobs that have come up, and they are high paying jobs. So that's a plus, which means that you can have a good familiarity of it. You can become masters in this, and it's not that difficult, trust me. And I think all of you are halfway there, right? And imagine that something which is so easy and simple to implement can help you earn a good salary at the end of the year. So that's good. Next is the fact that you can actually be very creative about it. You can see all the different things that you might have thought about, but now you have a place to actually go ahead and experiment with an idea that you had. I'm not sure that how you can propagate that idea into an actual application. You can actually do that by using these applications and, of course, giving the right prompt. So this is all we'll be discussing, and we get a deeper understanding that how we should progress. So I've been talking about the fact that, the structure needs to be important. It has to well defined. So what exactly is that? So we are going to break down the prompt, the anatomy of that to understand. So what you see in front of you on the screen are these 5 lines that talk about the different components which is there. Ideally, any prompt that you're going to write should have all these 5 components. But if not, at least 3 to 4 should be there, so that you are getting the result that you expect from the application. The first one talks about the role or the persona. So this is where you are telling the application that how or like whom they should be acting as a 5-year-old, as a professional, as a beginner, as a career coach. So all those things are important, because that's how they'll be then giving out the response to you. So as an example, you can see I've written act as a career coach. This is the task that what is it for which you are actually making use of this application. So for example, review my resume for marketing roles. Then you have to send a context that what is the background information. If you want to talk about the fact that you have a 5 year experience in FMG scales, or for example, I have been working in academia for 3 years, or I am a fresher who has just completed BCA. So that would be the background information that you're giving. Next comes the constraint on the format. So It can give you a general text that could be some paragraph. But if you are looking for something very precise, it's always a good idea to specifically mention it, that I want it in a bullet point, or you can even say that I want it in a presentation format, or I want a summary of it. So it will give you in that way. And then of course, tone and style. So this can be actually very advantageous because it can copy your experience and understand, imitate that when it's preparing the response for you. If I am somebody who has 20 years of experience and I actually write in my prompt that you have to give the explanation that comes from a professional who has 20 years of experience in, let's say, cloud compute. So it will be giving the response in that way. So as an example, this is the prompt that we have. Act as a product strategist. Suggest 3 innovative ways to use AI in rural healthcare in India. Provide each idea with a short description and potential impact. So all the 5 components that we had mentioned, they are part of this prompt that we see on the screen. When I say product strategist, that's the role I have defined. When I say suggest 3 ideas, that's the task that I'm giving. When I say rural healthcare in India, that's the context. Similarly, table with impact, that's the format, and professional is the tone that we have given. So this is what a good prompt should be written as, and it will be giving you the results that you expect from that prompt. Next is a list of frameworks that we are going through. So yeah, prompt engineering is that serious. So nobody, actually created these frameworks except for chain of thought. That's something that people at Google actually worked out. Crisp and Create are the frameworks which a lot of the users have come up with, because this is something new. Everybody has been experimenting with it, and somebody was able to, find some sort of a rhyme to it, was able to frame it into a framework and share it with the people on different platforms. And so there we have the 3 that are quite popular and that gets your work done very efficiently. The first one is CRISP, and each alphabet stands for: C is context, R is role, I is instruction, S style, and parameters. Again, this is not something which is fixed. It's going to replicate those 5 components that we spoke about. But yes, people have come up with these frameworks and they are giving good results. So for example, when we say context, for a startup pitch on sustainable fashion, that's become the context here. Then role, act as a brand consultant. Then instruction, write a 60-word elevator pitch. Then style, in a persuasive tone. And then parameters include 3 unique selling points. One thing which I want to clarify here is that if you look at the previous slide where I spoke about the different components, the order was little different than what you see in the CRISP. So what is important is that all those components should be there. Ordering is not that important, right? If you are specifying all those 5 things in whichever order, the application is going to give you the result that you are expecting it from. The next one is create prompting. Here also all the words in create stands for something that says clarify, role, example, audience, tone, evaluate. So you have one more entity here, that is your example. So we'll go through the example of the prompt that you see on the screen. Clarify is write a LinkedIn post on AI in marketing. Role is you are a digital strategist. Example is refer to how Coca-Cola used AI for campaigns. You have actually given something for reference as well. Audience, young marketers. Tone, motivational. Evaluate, is it concise and engaging? And it will give you those responses. And then something that people at Google came up with, that was chain of thought prompting. So this is where you are actually asking the how and why aspect of the query, that is, part of the prompt itself that you are providing. which says, for example, explain step by step how a transformer model processes input text before giving a final answer, which means that this is more of a teacher-student type of a question answer, wherein you are getting into the detail. That if you say, this is the answer I'm getting, okay, fine, this is the answer, but how did you arrive at that answer? So this sort of a prompt is going to tell you that how it arrived at that answer. Then we have different type of prompts as well. This is again something which is very relative. The categories can be more, it can be less, but these are the major types in which we can divide our prompts. The first one being descriptive. This is where you are using your prompt in order to create some sort of a report or a blog, or some summarization of a research paper. So for example, describe how 5G will transform education. And then something creative. So this is quite interesting, where you can ask it to create new images for you, or to write poems or proses. For example, write a poem about a programmer debugging at midnight. Similarly, analytical. So this is where it's getting a little bit more serious and more towards the industry way, if I can say so. So you are using this for data analysis and insight generation as well. So then you have your generative or ideation. So this is where you are going to use it to create something which was not there. You're not asking it to create a report or a summary, or mixing two formats of painters and creating something new. This is absolutely something which was not there. Then instructional. So this way of writing a prompt could be great in case you are preparing for some sort of a session. As a teacher, you can use it for your class notes, and even the students can use it when they are preparing for their interviews. And then you can even use it for research purpose, for comparative analysis. You use machine learning algorithms on a data set, and you will use multiple different type of algorithms to have a comparison of the results that you're getting. So you can make use of it. There are different type of mobile phones within a given range that is available. Which one is the best one? You can ask for that comparison, and it will give you that. From where it's going to source all this information? From the websites that you would have searched in the first place, and it's going to do that and bring it all together in front of you in a tabular format. Okay, now moving on to that, how you will be using this as your career co-pilot, and it's important. I understand that a lot of you who have joined us today for this session are the ones who are actively looking for a job, right? And interestingly, Mudita actually started with that example, wherein you are using these applications. We're talking about it to prepare a resume for you. So you have to ensure that whatever we have been discussing so far, all those different components spoke about of the prompt need to be included. You have to specify that what exactly is it that you are looking for, what you have done till now, what is the area that you are thinking of starting your career in, what sort of company you are targeting in order to land your first job with. So if you are mentioning all those things in your prompt, you are likely to get a format that would be acceptable with respect to what what kind of competencies you have, and it will map it with the competency that the company is looking for in the person that they're supposed to be hiring. So two examples that you see. The first one talks about that the application is supposed to act as a career coach and rewrite your resume, which means that you are uploading your resume as well for it to go through it and then make those suggestions. Rewrite my resume for a data analyst role at TCS, highlighting impact and matrices. Then before your interview, you need to prepare. And if you think that you are well prepared, you know everything, it would be a good idea to ask your generative AI app to create a simulator that can share 5 to 6 questions basis on your resume and your job description to see how much ready you are, so it's all the questions are not going to be tailor-made, right? They can be so you can be in for some surprises as well. Interestingly, the application will consider that and create those questions for you and see that how well you are prepared for your interview. So simulate a 5-question technical interview for software developer position. So try out these prompts. Then some of you might be already working who have joined us today. So you can be using this for in making your work a little easy. For example, summarize this 3-page report into a 5 executive level bullet points, or draft a professional yet friendly email declining you to work long. Saying no, I've realized, is actually the most difficult thing to do. And at times when we are saying no, we tend to get a little rude, not even realize that, our tone has gone that way. Well, we have a savior that can help us to draft a softer blow. Then another example, create a daily productivity plan using Insover metrics for a marketing manager. So we always say that we'll prepare something like that, but if we get something prepared for us, we might use it. And then for teams and organizations, so this is not only, um, you know, people who are working in corporate, but even when you're in your college and you're supposed to be working on a group project, you can actually make use of these applications to help you with these things. So for example, generate 5 ideas for improving employee engagement using gamification. Usually we start working on the projects 2 days prior to the deadline, right? And at that moment, if all the vague ideas are coming to your mind, you're not going to submit your project. What if you make use of this application that actually pinpoints to some constructive ideas, and then you can start working on it? Similarly, compare 3 cloud providers for small startup in India, summarize cost, scalability, AI integration. So you know exactly what you are supposed to write in the project report, and instead of actually scouting the internet and looking at the different websites, you are using it. Okay. So this is one of my favorite slides while I was putting up, because this says that from an idea, you can actually move towards a startup. With the fact that the government of India is actually encouraging entrepreneurship, and the fact that we should not only employ ourselves, but a lot of other people too. With that idea in mind, these applications could be really, really smartly used. So first of all, things around us always make us wonder, always make us think, could this be done better? Can this be turned into an application? I know this is funny to give an example now, but almost 15, 16 years back, a friend of mine, 2 friends of mine, were discussing that, how difficult it is that during Diwali, when we have to put up these lights, either we have to do it ourselves, or if we are looking for a electrician to do it for us, we don't find, because most of them have gone back to their own hometowns. So we are left with doing it ourselves, and at the end of the day, some of the lights are fine, some of them are not fine. What if there was a company that provided electricians? Well, few years later, down the year, you saw that you have urban company taking care of that, right? These people and these friends of mine did not took the idea into a startup. They just discussed, and that was the end of it. Imagine if they had this application that point of time, they could have punched a prompt and could have seen that in this idea we converted into a business proposal or not. So that's the steps that you can take up using this application. So then you can use it to get into a business plan, which means that you can ask it to use some of the applications which are there. If you are using, let's say, Gemini, so you have access to Google icons, and it can help you to use that to create wonderful business plans. You can create beautiful marketing campaign for it. You can create taglines that can be catchy, specifically targeting, or either you could be a Zomato CEO who can come up with those funny taglines. If you're not that creative, then of course this can be a good place for you to start with. And the most important part is the fact that how are we supposed to financially aid it? I, for one, am not that strong in this department. So if I have an application like that that can give me at least a blueprint, I might take it seriously and move forward. So this is how it can make a lot of difference. Next is that we can use it as a creative partner. So, I've said this many times on a lot of different forums that, for me, generative AI actually started with the creative aspect of it. My first adventure was with Midjourney, and I experimented with creating new images. But as a person who has that creative inclination, these can be great. I'm not saying that you have to write the entire story from these applications, but at least it can give you a little nudge in case you have that writer's block. It can help you with it, or it can even give you, different alternative endings that you can think of, and perhaps something which is altogether new. What I'm trying to say is that being creative, because this is not only the application that's going to work, the prompt is going to be your imagination, right? So if you are trying out these, and when the Ghibli art got famous, or sometime back during Diwali, everybody had created all those wonderful that if this is the room that is looking now, how will it look if I decorate it for Diwali? And then people went out and actually got those items, created a beautiful Diwali decor for their houses. So you can be using all this in that exciting and creative way as well. So that's one aspect. But then on a very serious note, we have people who are writers, designers, or even marketeers who are using it in order to create something that could be pitched to the customer to get a understanding that exactly what is it that they are looking for, and if we can at least find some common grounds over there. So that's the intent of using them for creative aspects as well. Now comes the most essential, that is the power of learning. But this comes with an asterisk. The asterisk is that it's always a good idea to use it for the subjects that you have a decent understanding of. I don't have any background in medical or law, so it will be highly, highly suicidal, if I can use that word, to use it to create a content in those domains. But I am an engineer by degree, and I understand computers. I understand the different technologies associated with it. So if I'm using it to create content for that, I will be smart enough, intelligent enough to go through it to understand that how much of it is relevant, and there are no hallucinations as such in the content that these applications have generated. Because having said all the good things, we have to be mindful about the fact that it does come with some disadvantages, and one of the major disadvantages that of hallucination. Because just like humans who love appreciation, these applications also love appreciation. So in order to make us happy, at times they create content which is there. They'll give which was not actually said by those people. They'll refer those research papers which were not actually there. So if you are using it for learning with respect to that particular area that you come from, it will be actually a good idea. So for example, you are preparing for your final exams and you have a subject, let's say data mining and warehousing, and there are certain techniques which are there, and you're asking it to summarize you. You read it and you understand, okay, fine, this is right, I can actually use it. So in that way, this can be used both by the students as well as the educators. Now, coming to the fact that how are we spoke about the fact that a lot of different new careers have come up because of this, and the length of discussion that we have had just now, the fact that prompt has a word engineering attached to it, emphasizes the fact that how important this has come, how much industry is recognizing it, and the importance of the people who can efficiently use prompts in order to generate the desired outputs. So one of the most sought out career job opportunity out there is that of a prompt engineer. They are expected to uh, devise optimized prompts for the chatbots as well as your AI tools and get the results from them. Then you can use it as an interaction designer, wherein you can use it to see that how these are going to communicate with the humans, because we want a polite chatbot, right? Who, when you're chatting with it, actually feels that you're talking with a human and not a bot. So people who are able to write um, statements in a way that the responses are more human-like, they are on high demand. Then product strategist. So you are somebody who's coming from, you are an MBA. I saw that a lot of you are an MBA, so you understand be it marketing or sales aspect, and then you are using this AI in order to combine the learning of your specialization um, along with the fact that how you are using these tools in order to aid and get better and error-free reports generated. And then we have creative technologist. So we are using it in order to create a more interactive content. We know that engaging the customer is the tagline today. How much we are able to entice customers, the content that we are able to create for them that entices them, stays them, let them stay at your page for a longer time, is equivalent to the fact that they are going to end up buying things from you. So you see that the ads have improved. You see that the way people are approaching customers have improved because they are using these tools in order to design a better campaign. All right. Now, important part, that exactly what is it that you should be learning in order to set yourself in this direction. The first and the foremost is the prompt frameworks. Nobody is going to ask you to write a prompt in CRISP or create or chain of prompting. But what is expected is that you are mindful of this when you are writing your prompt. It should cover all the aspects of the problem that you are finding a solution for. Then you should be well versed with all the different AI tools which are in GPT, Gemini, Delhi, Midjourney, Perplexity, Claude, Llama, all these. I think there are 30 tools which are very popular and are used across a lot of different things. Don't go for paid versions for all of them, but at least you should have an understanding that what all these different applications are being used for and how they are effective. For example, I at times use Gamma for presentation look, so it gives you a very good visuals that you can use for your own presentations. Then please do experiment with low-code AI workflows, and with the amount of applications that Google has released a couple of months back, you can make use of that very well in order to help you to get a solid understanding of these applications and then work with. Then apply domain knowledge. So when we were asking that, what all different domains you come from, and we had a whole spectrum. So please make sure that you are using these applications for your own domain, because you already are a master of that. And when you are using it, you are intelligent enough to understand the response that you are giving. Then you can even improve your prompts in order to get better results. So in case your applications are hallucinating, you'll be able to isolate that and then work around it to ensure that those hallucinations are removed. And then, of course, you need to create a personal portfolio that demonstrates all these different applications and how creatively you have used them and how wonderfully you have come up with the results. So, along with your resume, I think people will be looking for something in this area also. So, a portfolio will do you good. I could not leave this presentation without talking about the ethical prompting, the fact that and this is a great tool, this is a great engine, and prompt is the driver that you are using it. But when you are at the driver's seat, you have to be mindful. You have to go by the rules. Abiding it ensures that you are safe. Abiding by the rules ensure that everybody else on the road is also safe. So you have to ensure that there's a good chance, because these applications are feeding on the information which is on the internet, right? And then all sorts of people are on the internet and all sort of information is on the internet. So whatever response you'll be getting, there could be a bias. For example, when they give a that show a person is working in a machine in a factory, the picture that emerges is that of a man and not a woman. So that sort of a bias these applications will show. There'll be some sort of a stereotype also. So you have to be mindful of that. Spoken in detail about hallucinations, so that's one issue with these applications. And then, of course, privacy and confidentiality. Whatever you are going to give it to it, it's going to make use of it in order to enhance its responses. So please be mindful that what pictures you are sharing, what data you are sharing with these applications. Then and this is something new which has come and the governments are enforcing. And the fact that if you are creating something from these applications, you have to explicitly mention that this content has been generated by a generative AI tool. I don't know if you have seen a lot of these small video clips that you see on social media these days. It has written Sora on it, which means that they look very realistic until you see that word Sora and you realize that okay, fine, this is a AI created image. So that means that this becomes quite essential that you explicitly declare that this is AI generated. And next is sustainability and human creativity. I totally agree. This was created by humans, right? So this is our imagination that we have converted into this wonderful tool. So nothing can surpass us. Don't rely on this, that because the application is saying so, this is right and everything else is wrong. Absolutely not. You still have your teachers, you still have your mentors and guides, you still have your parents. And they do much better than anybody else. So trust them, trust their instincts, and don't blindly follow whatever these applications are going to tell you, because you are already reading a lot of news in that area as well. And on that note, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience and listening to this whole session. Thank you.
Praveen Kumar is asking that how can I start practicing prompt engineering effectively?
Okay, so start with something that you know, because that will help you understand that the responses that you're getting is aligned with the knowledge that you already have. So that would be a first, because you mentioned the word effectively. You're not just experimenting on using it for entertainment purpose. So, for example, I understand machine learning. I understand the different types of supervised, unsupervised algorithms which are there. I can ask it to give me a summary of the top 5 algorithms. And when I see those responses, I know what type of results it's giving. So if some element is missing, which should have been covered, I will revise my prompt. So this is how by trial and error you will be able to learn, because the answers you are going to get is from your domain only. So you will be yourself able to judge that how well you have written the prompt, and then you can revise. Once you get into that flow, then you can start experimenting.
Questions are coming up. So Kanishka is asking that as a student of MBA Finance, how we can shape our career with the help of AI and promoting and easing our work and be more effective.
Okay, so coming from a finance background, there are a lot of analytical reports that you're supposed to be generating, a lot of comparison analysis that you're supposed to be doing. So you can make use of tools like Perplexity, ChatGPT, the paid version, that can help you with drafting these responses in a much better and a tabular format. You can even make use of different techniques, and it helps you to give a more refined and structured reports that can be used. Of course, you'll have to go through it, because if you don't, then there could be issues. I recently read about the fact that a huge company was given the task by government of a country, actually, where the financial analysis of uh, the the government undertaking. The company actually generated some 250 plus pages of report, and which was well received, and it had some excellent insights. Then one professor went through that and realized that there were few quotes that was okay, and that was not correct. The references that were shared were not correct. So even if you are using this, you have to go through the content that these applications are generating for you, and you are supposed to uh, verify. So the humans are not getting subtracted out of this whole equation. So please be, quite sure about it. So even if you are using it, you will have to proofread it to actually hand it over to anybody who had asked you for that report.
Very well said, Dr. Himdweep. Hindu, there is a very interesting question from Tanu, and she's asking that isn't prompt engineering basically a way of creating writing to generate said output?
Yeah, it is. So you can actually create a complete application also now by the prompt. So you can actually write a prompt that says that, generate application for me is able to add two numbers, and then you describe it. So all the coding that you used to do, instead of that coding, if you can write this quite explicitly that what exactly your application is supposed to do, it will create an application for you. So that's what it is doing. Yeah.
Yes. And again, continue to this question, she's asking that I have a query. Isn't it quite common that Gen AI makes mistake when searching website and sometimes even provide a hypothetical website as well,
Yeah.
despite of fully structured prompt?
Exactly. It will. That's why I'm saying human intervention is still important. You need to understand that these applications are also fairly new. They are learning. They are learning, even they are learning from you. The prompt that you have used today and that you are getting today, you use it again even after 48 hours. You will see a different response for the same prompt. So that means that it is also learning. It's in the stage of learning. So we have developed something which is learning, and we are also learning along with it. That's the irony of it. So hallucination is very, very problem as of now. Maybe in future we'll be able to overcome it. Might create sort of checkers that are able to detect this and maybe we need a neural network which is supposed to check if there are any information which is added that is not real, and it can use it as a filter to.
Right.
So there's an idea. You can actually create an application that takes care of it.
Okay. Vishwajit is asking Himdweep that will coding vanish in future?
No.
Okay,
At
the
the end of
answer
the day,
is
if
no.
you're using these, even if you're using these applications, and if you ask it to create for you, if you ask it to a presentation for you, it actually writes a code to do that. And ChatGPT, Gemini show you that it's writing a code to generate it for you. Coding is the backbone.
Right.
So coding will never go obsolete. The front end is the prompt that you are writing, the back is
Okay.
code. So it's going to work on that.
So Himdweep Pari is having one question, and she's asking that how can same prompt lead to different responses each time?
Because all of them are using different architectures in the background, and therefore their way of processing the information is different, and that's what's happening. Plus, it also takes into consideration what type of searches you have been, or prompts you have been giving before. We did this workshop with the faculty members of an MBA institute in Kolkata, and there was this one prompt that I had shared with them, and I asked all of them to use the exact same prompt. Some of them used ChatGPT, some of them used Perplexity, some of them used Gemini. So were the three applications that they gave. Not all of them had same answer. Some of the females, so it was basically to develop a resume. That was the prompt with all the specifications. Some of the female faculty members saw that the reference was of a female that was given. Some of the male faculty members saw that the reference of a male was given while generating the template of the resume. So you see that, because we're also already using these applications, the application knew that the user could be a male or could be a female, and basis on that they had customized the responses. So that's why you are, it's bound to happen that you find different responses even for the same prompt.
Right. Himdweep, Ikra is asking that how can prompt engineering improve the effectiveness of AI tool in business decision making, like marketing and customer service, and what ethical issue should manager consider when using AI generated output?
So when you are using this as humans, howsoever intelligent we are, or howsoever deep knowledge we might have, there is a possibility. I'm saying there is a possibility that we might not consider all the factors that are accountable. At least these applications take into account that. Now, when it comes to the reports that are being generated, you have to be mindful of all those ethical considerations I spoke about. There should not be any use that data to see that if there is any bias in that. You have to check for hallucinations. You have to see that whatever references they have used, they are authentic ones. So as a human, you have to go back and check all those results that it is generated. For example, if I ask ChatGPT to generate a 1 hour lecture on, let's say, predictive maintenance using IoT, and what all it gives me, I have to be, I have to go through that content to ensure that what all references or what all it has put together is actually making sense or not. So that's the reason that, your intervention into whatever these applications are generating is required.
With this, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. It was a very nice, very interesting, and the curiosity across every session was tremendous. So thank you so much, everybody. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.